Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today I'll be discussing the new PvE and PvP map Geffenia in Ragnarok Mobile, which is also known as Geffen Frontline. Both modes have the same mechanics, but the PvE one lets you fight with other players versus CPU bots, whereas for PvP, your opponents will be other players too. First, how do you get there? From the teleport NPC, you will now see two new options for the Geffenia map, one for Geffen Frontline for PvP and one for Geffenia PvE. This is the map of Geffenia. You will be able to see players on the minimap. I have labeled on this map the various instances, as well in the middle that's where the ultimate ghost hunt is at the end. There's two spawn points, one for Dracula spawn and then at the bottom there's one for Wolf spawn. PvP can support up to 48 players and that is an absolute nightmare for the spawn point. For War of Imperium, those maps have multiple entrances so it's harder to spawn camp. And people have complained for War of Crystals that spawn camping is not fun either, so for Geffenia, if you camp a few strong people at the spawn entrance, I think it would be very unfair. It is possible to get one person to do the objective, and then the other 23 people on your team can spawn camp. So we'll see what the devs do about this if this actually does happen. Next, let's discuss the incidents in depth that you'll be playing. The more you win, the stronger your endgame boss fight will be for your team. First is Capture Dreamcatchers. This is like capturing points. If there are more members on the point, it will increase per second. If it's the same number of people on both sides, then no progress will happen. Whoever gets all 5 capture point wins, or if time runs out, whoever has the most. This is similar to the chess in 6v6, except the circles are much closer to each other. I think when they're that close, it's so chaotic that it's hard to strategize. I personally prefer to attack with Stay Alert so I can do damage without running out of the circle. Classes that have the ability to drag people out like Fenrir really come in handy. They'll really annoy people. Next is Compete for Faith Ores. Whenever you kill a Faith Ore spirit, you get a Faith Ore. If you kill someone, they drop all their Faith Ores that they were collecting. If you leave the Faith Ore area, then you lose all your Faith Ores. And you have to submit your ores in the middle. If the team submits 100, you win, otherwise it's whoever submitted the most. Submitting the ores in the middle is a pain. If you're hit, it resets when you flinch. If someone puts AoE above the ore submission place that hits quickly, then the enemies will have a really hard submitting. As you collect ores, this shows a number above your head. For example, I have 11, but it's a bit hard to see unless you zoom in. It's best to have some people on your team killing other players too and some focus on collecting, and then one person just spamming AoE above the submission point. I find the targeting here to be really bad. The ores are kinda in the way as well as players, so in PvP this one is poorly designed in my opinion. There's just too many things to be hitting. In PvE you can choose the CPU so it's a bit easier to target. Next is Crush the Nightmare, where you want to hit the Shadow Morlock boss as much as possible. The highest damaging team wins. I personally focus on killing enemy CPU players and when none were around, killing the boss. The boss doesn't hurt that much so you can just tank it all. This one doesn't have anything related to last hit like for an MVP kill, so there's really not that much of a mechanic here to deal with. It's actually kind of a boring one in my opinion. Next is Move the Meteor Cart. Only one team can exist for the cart to move. You want to get it to the destination to win, or if time runs out, whoever gets closest to the destination. This reminds me of Team Fortress 2, which has a similar design, but for that game mode, the map is huge so you can plan traps and strategize. Here it's small and chaotic, so I don't think it's as well designed. I'd recommend staying alert and then staying within the circle, and then it's also nice to have a big tank here so the enemies can't move the cart. Next is Monster Onslaught. You kill different monsters to get points. MVP grants 15, Mini is 5, and Common Monsters is 1 point. If you hit the score of 90, you win. If time runs out, whoever has the most point wins. This one's a bit more strategic and you can do stuff like kill stealing, so this is definitely much better than the Shadow Morlock one. This chaos reminds me of the War of Crystal where there's an MVP spawning and then there's a lot of people trying to kill people and the boss around them. I find the MVPs here don't hit too hard, so I don't even bother dodging, so it's definitely more of just killing other players. Now before the ultimate ghost hunt, you will see in this incident list that it is random incidents. You can also get duplicates, which is a bit surprising. I've had one where I had 2 onslaughts in a row. So that is where the randomness happens. I would have preferred the devs make you do each instance, but the order is random instead. Finally is the ultimate ghost hunt. Each team gets a boss, and if you won incidents, your boss gets stronger. In the end, you have to kill the other team's boss to win. This one is pretty chaotic with 2 bosses and a small area. Again, not much mechanics here, this is just a straight up brawl. The good thing is once you beat this, the game resets without loading, so you can just stay put and start again. Next for PvE, you will encounter Khalitzburg, Thor, Sarah Allen, and Fenrir. Khalitzburg is the worst. She insta-kills very easily, so it's a bit painful to deal with her. Often you have to hit her first in order to win. Next are the buffs that show up on the map. I pick up the apple that gives HP recovery for 60 seconds, then the shield for 3% damage reduction for 60 seconds, finally the sword for 3% damage increase for 60 seconds. So look out for these as they spawn around the map. For these maps, it's nice to have PvP gear. For this video, my Khalitzburg is using a freeze build with the ability to hide from my garment card, and sight from my accessory card to deal with hidden players. Next, here's my shadow equipment, Oracle Mirror, and Relic. Overall, I think the PvE is pretty good. I played this the most. I personally don't like the PvP one, as the matchmaking can be horrible sometimes, and there's also a big mismatch in the team numbers, and like other PvP modes, it's frustrating dealing with super strong whales. I think the devs have the code to make some fun mini games, but I don't think they should all be in one map. I would love to see the cart moving one in a huge map that is similar to Team Fortress 2, where players choose classes for strategic purposes and everyone has a level playing field. Then it is more about strategy than about pay to win, then I feel this would be a more unique PvP experience. Finally, what rewards do you get? After all, with so many weekly instances already, should I prioritize playing this? As you play, you unlock prestige levels. There is a daily cap up to 100, so there's no point in playing beyond that. Prestige 1 is furniture for the small unlock bonus. Prestige 2 is 1 million zenny. Prestige 3 is 30 orange tickets. Prestige 4 are materials for crafting stuff from this map. Note that green field light can be farmed by killing the mobs in PvE too. Next, Prestige 5 is a blueprint, decent for free-to-play tail for 2% move speed, 2% pierce, and 5% ignore defense. Next, Prestige 6 is 1 million zenny. Prestige 7 is furniture for the unlock bonus. Prestige 8 is green level equipment memory, which is trash since you get these very common in the Ghost Palace instance. Prestige 9 is more materials for crafting. Prestige 10 is the magic equivalent to what physical players get at Prestige 5. Magic classes have to suffer more for getting something physical classes get easier, so enjoy the grind. Next, Prestige 11 is 1 million zenny. Prestige 12 is 30 orange tickets. Prestige 13 is blue level equipment memory, which I think is also trash since you often get this in Ghost Palace. Prestige 14 is Mistella fruit. Prestige 15 is the blueprint. For free to play, this is a pretty good back since it gives both move speed and damage and magic damage. This is definitely not bad for a free to play boss hunting back. Next, Prestige 16 is equipment memory. You get some memory afterglow, which is not bad. Prestige 17 is more furniture. This one gives 3 magic attack, which is nice. Next, Prestige 18, you get a legendary memory equipment. If you weren't lucky in getting legendary equipment before, this is very nice to have. This guarantees one, which is very good for free-to-play players. Prestige 9 is more Mistella fruit. Prestige 20 is a blueprint for headwear. It has a nice 3000 HP and auto attack damage reduction. The unlock is not bad either. Prestige 21 is 1 memory crystal core. I wish they would give more. Prestige 22 is more furniture, this one with a nice +3 attack unlock. Prestige 23 is a second legendary memory equipment. This is great for free-to-play players. Prestige 24 is more Mistella fruit. Finally, for Prestige 25 is another headwear for 3000 HP and reduced skill damage. Overall, I think the legendary memory equipment is what makes this worth grinding. If you weren't lucky enough to get 3, then getting 2 guaranteed is wonderful, especially for free-to-play players, although I find the other rewards are a bit lacking. So what do you think of this new Geffenia game mode? Will you be playing it? Let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I would recommend. And if you want more guides, check out this playlist over here.